Hi everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel back with What Remains of Us, an Atome Jam 2023 visual novel. Um, Last time, Salvi and Divina were talking about the past and things. Um, but they share a complicated history, and Salvi showed up injured slash poisoned just last night, and Divina has been able to help him out. And I guess we're trying to get more answers about what the current situation is, and I wonder how much more of their past collective past, we will be able to see slash hear. But I'm very excited to continue this. So let's just get into it, because I'm very curious. I love the voice acting, I love the art, I love the music, so it's been quite fun so far. You wait until he's halfway done with the bowl before finally popping the question.
What did they do to you?
Just turned up the volume a little bit. Salvi stills, staring at the spoon halfway to his mouth. You place it back in the bowl. He sends you a dirty look, but there's no real bite behind it.
Can't you let a man finish eating first? Besides, how are you so sure it's them I'm so bent over about?
Well, we don't have any other information, sir, so what is it? Was it them? Was it not them?
Because their opinion is the only one you ever seem to care for.
Ugh. There's hurt behind that statement. His expression morphs to one of genuine contempt, brows drawn and lips pursed. He opens his mouth as if to say something, but decides against it. He looks disappointed, somehow.
Well, it's not.
Uh-huh.
Then what happened?
Exactly. We need to know. He remains suspiciously quiet.
Salvi?
Okay, fucking hell, fine. Because of that moronic oversized twit. You happy now?
While throwing his hands in the air, that's what he said. He blinks slowly, taking his outburst in stride.
And what exactly is it that Dante did this time?
They...
Salvi chokes on air, which quickly devolves into heaving coughs. You rub his shoulder as he lets it all out before offering him a glass of water. Halfway down, you see that he's begun to cry, the poor sod. You take the cup from him and deposit it on the table. It takes a while for him to regain his bearings. Yet the tears remain.
They've had enough of me, apparently. Ever since you left, they've been so high-strung, I know it's not your fault. I understand your choice, and I don't blame you for it.
Okay. So Dante, they changed after Divina left. You nod slowly, opting not to comment.
But gods, they're... After all my years with them, I know not to expect much, but... It's too much. Gods, it's too much.
You raise your hand and place it against his cheek. He leans in, letting you wipe away his tears with your thumb.
It can't be you. I cannot replace the hole you've left in their heart, and they know this. We both know this. I stopped practicing magic for them. Do you know how pathetic that makes me feel? You stood up against the council, left before they could influence you further, no matter what we thought. And yet, here I am. 5 years without magic, on the verge of being snuffed out of existence for an imbecile who doesn't even want me back. A person who can't even look me in the eye as they tell me to fuck off because I've outlived my usefulness.
Terrible. He laughs again, almost hysterical.
This war is over, Salvi. There
He
are no
mocks.
more tales to tell. Go, you are no longer needed here.
Oh, that's terrible, though.
As if I hadn't willingly walked into this over a decade ago when they summoned me. As if I didn't choose to stay.
Your face contorts into one of displeasure. Unfortunately, you're not surprised. This is entirely in character.
And what am I supposed to say to that? Okay, Dante, thank you for having me in your service for 15 fucking years. It's been a good run. Adios.
His hand clenches and unclenches, like he's itching for a fight.
They took my hand for the first time in what felt like ages. The next thing I know, I was back in that damned forest all those years ago. It is so much harder to break our contracts than it is to create them, and they just... without even telling me.
He took his hair behind his ear and watched intently as his breathing begins to even out.
I never even told them I loved them.
He closes his eyes and lays back even further into the pillows. You're not sure if he realizes it, but he's begun to nuzzle the back of your hand. You're right? Should I say you're right? I'm gonna say you're right, because there's a complicated relationship, and by generally speaking, when someone has complicated feelings for someone else, usually you need to just validate what they're feeling. And it's a little dangerous, I feel, to be a little bit more antagonistic towards that person that they're talking about. So I'm gonna say you're right, which I do believe you're right, Salvi, but, you know, this is, for me, I feel the safer option. Otherwise, we're gonna, you know, especially since Divina did not really comment on, like, some other things about Dante while Salvi was having his monologue. You caress his cheek, reveling in the way he leans into you further. You miss this, whatever this is you two have when you set aside the barbs and insults. You missed him.
You're right.
He doesn't reply, merely presses his lips against your knuckles.
You aren't me, love. And you don't have to be. Gods forbid there be more than one of me running around. I fear the world would burn down far faster than the abyss could destroy us all.
He laughs, and it warms your chest like the first peak of dawn on the horizon.
Tough luck. I heard a couple of ruffians patched it up a year ago. You'll have to find another world-ending event for your metaphors.
We could make one.
And prove the council right. Good riddance.
You laugh, and he laughs with you, eyes crinkling at the sides. Okay, so there's like a council, there's magic, there's a little bit more of that going on. Because Divina practices magic, and we've now learned that Salvi also did in the past. I'm assuming you can still, it's just going to be a little rusty. You're going to be a little rusty, I'd assume, after 5 years of not practicing magic. You trace the lines of his smile with your fingertips, with your eyes, committing every single bit of him to memory. Oh. 2 days later, you're feeling significantly better. Oh, yes, we are now switched point of view, and we're Salvi's point of view. Okay. 2 days later, you're feeling significantly better than you were before. Divina is nowhere to be seen, probably either gathering herbs again or making potions and salves at the front desk. Though you're not exactly sure why she'd still be doing it so late. It's already past sundown. And you, well, you spent the last 2 days in a delirious state of sleep, only waking up whenever your mind decided to give you a respite from your dreams. You dreamed of them again, the two of them. You wished you could stay, but there was no point lingering on the past. Lest you end up like the rest of your kind, so blinded by it that they ignored the cruelties of their inaction. And to be honest, you're kind of hungry. She already graduated you to solid food, so she wouldn't fault you for a little snack, right? You prop your elbows up behind you, and this time you can finally stand without issue. Oh, yay, that's great. Your legs are unsteady, already used to 3 days of lying down and only standing for the infrequent bathroom break. You were only half lying the other day when you said Divina was a shit healer. You press your hand against the bandages wrapped tenderly around your torso. She definitely got him better at it, that's for sure. You smile softly, grazing your fingers against the places she touched. I will say also, I think I may have mentioned it before, but I really like the dual point of view that we get in this visual novel. It adds a little bit more dynamicism. Dynamicism, is that how I say that? Yes. I just really like it for storytelling purposes. Since we get both Salvi's and Divina's point of views to, continue the story.
What are you doing?
You got caught. You laugh, turning around with your hands raised.
Nothing. Nothing for you to worry or be suspicious about.
If you say it like that, I'd be suspicious.
You know that doesn't make you any less suspicious, right?
Whatever could you mean?
She sighs and rolls her eyes fondly. You wait for her to say something, but she is rather busy staring at the couch.
Well, if you excuse me, I'm off to get a snack.
A snack?
Do you want to sleep with me?
I'm sorry?
Divina probably feels bad that you're sleeping on the couch. It's not that comfy. Or as comfy. You crack a grin, brow raised. You wonder if she even noticed the horrible phrasing of that sentence.
It's just, you've been sleeping on my couch this whole time, and you're clearly uncomfortable. You can continue sleeping on the couch, of course, but the offer stands.
You smile softly. Asking usually wasn't in Divina's itinerary, so this probably shouldn't tease her about it. Too much, at least. When were you ever known not to indulge?
Why, darling, I would love to sleep with you.
She smiles at you in return. It's a feeble and small thing that makes you wonder. Has Dante ever seen her like this? A few seconds later, the reality of what exactly you said finally sinks in. That blush. It's so fun. Her expression morphs into one of blatant exasperation. You snicker.
You should really be more careful with your words.
She pointedly ignores you and instead of replying, begins to massage her temples.
I'll help you into the room. You shouldn't be walking around on your own yet.
Little fun, little teasing. Love to see it. You lean over their prone forms, attempting to grab onto your journal without waking them up. Really, it was kind of your fault for leaving it here in the first place. But who were you to know that they couldn't even wait until after dinner to begin coupling? You suppose it would be distasteful if you wrote in an account of the Guardian's sexual misadventures into his biography. Never mind that he's your best friend. You pointedly avoid looking at both of them as you stretch your arm even further. Just a bit more.
Salvi?
Oh. Well, shit. You chance to look down, only to see that they're both awake and looking right at you. You chuckle awkwardly and pull away, trying your damnedest to get out of the situation immediately, but there's a large calloused hand circling your wrist, and... Oof.
You're heavy, Salvi. Scoot over.
You grunt as you're bodily dragged and slotted in between the two. Gods, how did you end up here?
You're thinking too loud.
You turn your head to Divina. She looks amused, eyes lidded no doubt from your rude awakening.
Should I report you to the council for mind reading now?
The past. She rolls her eyes and scooches over to sling an arm around your waist. At your other side, Dante does the same, their hands joining over your stomach.
Go to sleep, Salvi.
They murmur softly. Divina's head is at your shoulder, and Dante has taken to burying their face in your neck, and, oh, gods, you shouldn't get used to this, should you? It was doomed to fail from the start. The past is the past, unfortunately. You're broken out of your reverie by Divina entering. You're in her bedroom, hands in your lap as you sit on her bed feeling far too much like a bride waiting for her groom. Ah, cute little PJs. When you chance to look at Divina, she's dressed in a nightgown that exposes much of their neck. And collarbone, and, well then. You exhale, averting your gaze from her body. It's not the first time you understood why Dante wanted her, loved her instead of you. You resolved yourself not to look at her the whole night when a lump of cloth hits you in the head. You splutter and grab at it. To your surprise, it's another nightgown, tailored to your size, and brand new. You looked up at her. Apparently, you two are of the same mind, because she is resolutely looking away as well.
Get dressed. I had your clothes repaired, and they should be ready in the morning.
Nice.
I can't just undress in front of you.
You say indignant.
Has 3 months turned you into a blushing maiden? I already took off your pants when I first bathed you, Salvi. Besides, I've seen you fleeing butt naked from enough angered spouses to last me a lifetime. But if you truly wish for privacy, then I can make myself scarce.
I mean, what do I pick here? No, stay? That would be nice. Let's just go with this one. You smile at her sheepish. That would be nice, yes.
All right then. Call for me when you're done.
Once you're finally alone, you stare at the cloth in your lap. You run your fingers through the soft material, cotton, just like you prefer. You lift it over your head and shimmy it over your body, careful not to undo any work Divina did to your torso. You smile. It's a good fit that's just big enough to please you immensely. You adjust how it settles over your legs for a few moments before slipping your pants off. It's only now, 3 days later, that you realize these actually aren't your pants. You shake your head at your own stupidity.
I'm done.
You call out. By the time she comes in, you folded your pants and deposited them by the nightstand. Divina makes her way over to the other side of the bed, occasionally stealing glances at you, and it warms your heart to be reminded that you aren't alone in this. Whatever this is, going on between you two. It feels nice to be wanted, even if it's not in the way you'd prefer. Even if she can't love you in return. You slip under the covers the same time she does. You mutter a quick spell and the lanterns flicker shut. Cool, cool. You're so cute! Oh, we get a CG. Her back is turned towards you, careful to keep some distance between your bodies, so you turn your back as well. It's a small bed, barely enough space to keep you apart. How do you even fit on the bed? Oh my goodness. You itch to reach over, but it's not your place. So you keep your hands to yourself, folded right over your torso like they had both held you ages ago. You suppose it's fitting that you'd spend far more intimate times with strangers, and yet your heart never ached at the memory. But the thought of that night alone could have you rolling stones for the rest of eternity. They never did ask you to come sleep with them again. Maybe you smell? Divina was never fond of floral scents, but you can't help it if you naturally smell like lavender. Oh, cool. Which probably makes you sound like an overconfident twit, but you're not human, so you get a pass.
Are you not bothered by it?
By what?
I told you I loved him. I know you're not seeing each other anymore, but most people would have had a reaction to that. Especially considering I've known both of you for so long.
There's a shuffling behind you, and for a moment, it feels as if she could set you alight from her judgment alone.
I always knew.
You knew?
What?
Your breath hitches.
It's in your eyes, Salvi. The way the two of you looked at each other, I admit, I was jealous at first, before I realized Dante had room in their heart for more than just one.
What do you mean?
Oh, they turned over. She pulls at your arm until you're forced to look at her. She raises her hand up and cups your cheek. Divina's eyes are alight with magic, and you know then that you are not alone in this moment. You ignore it, leaning into her hand and reveling in the way she runs her thumb across your cheek. If Dante sees then, it's their own fault, not yours. Rituals are a two-way street, and it's no business of yours if they're stupid enough to cross.
Do you really think yourself so unlovable?
They never loved me. As a pet, maybe, but...
She looks at you, the disappointment clear in her eyes, and you know you've said the wrong thing. You can't bring yourself to care. The light in her eyes sputters out and is enough for you to know you're alone once more. Dante left. Good riddance. She pulls her hand away, instead placing it over your heart. She doesn't say anything about what you just done, and it makes you feel far worse than if she just did.
We both know they're an idiot, love.
And isn't that unfair? Calling you that knowing full well you can't help but listen.
But they're our idiot. For better or worse. We know they're not good with emotions. But they love you. Have loved you for longer than you'll ever know. And I can't believe they're so much of an idiot to let their self-sacrificing nature get in the way of you both.
You place your hand over hers and squeeze. She curls her fingers in before intertwining them with yours.
But the question is, do you love them still?
Yes? No? I don't know. Complicated feelings. I feel like even if you... Yes? I feel like from what I gather from the story that it is a yes. Because feelings don't leave that quickly. Like, even when stuff happens, like, it takes time to, like, process them. I'm gonna say yes.
Yes.
You answer, and curse your traitorous heart because you mean it. There is no judgment in her eyes, only understanding.
I do too. And I suppose I'm lucky, considering I left of my own volition. But I still love them, faults and all. And I don't think I'll ever stop.
You run your thumb over her knuckles and raise it to your lips for a kiss. She smiles softly, and it should be discomforting. The things you know, you do it to keep it there forever. The things you would sacrifice for her to be happy. But it's not. And yet again, you are met with the realization of why exactly Dante fell in love. Why you fell in love, no matter how much jealousy had painted her visage green. But you always did love the scenery, didn't you? You pull them in, tucking their head underneath your chin. Oh. She would destroy you, and yet every year without fail, spring would come.
Go to sleep, Salvi. Tomorrow, dawn.
Tomorrow. Dawn.
and drift off into the night's embrace. The fire dances behind both of you, warming your frigid bodies in the cold night. All around you it is quiet, broken only by the crackle of fire and gusts of wind. Occasionally, there is a screech in the distance that gets louder and louder, until it catches sight of you three and turns tail. It was amusing and all too convenient if you're honest. Still, you don't care enough to ruminate on it further. At the very least, you don't have to tire yourself out on them.
I love him.
Uh-huh. You turn to Dante. The confession hangs in the air, stealing their every breath. You say nothing, lest the stray words snuff out the rest of their courage. Even here, with the abyss looming over all of you, you would still choose to stay by their side.
I have for a while. But I didn't know how to tell you. How to make sure you didn't feel as if you were some consolation prize.
Mm-hmm.
That I loved you as much as I love him.
Mm-hmm.
But then came the matters of court and the army, and...
I know.
Okay, so in my mind, this is Divina. Okay, so it is Divina's perspective. They look at you, their expression pained. There are bags underneath their eyes, far worse than you'd ever seen them. You would soothe them away and sing them to sleep were you not trying to conserve your magic for possibly your worst decision yet. You look past them at the vast and endless sea where the sky meets the horizon, in an all-consuming, starless black, where the serpent is set to awaken and rise from the depths to plunge the world into darkness. Behind you, Salvi is sound asleep.
I'm sorry.
You take their hand in yours, pressing tender kisses along their knuckles. They are calloused and worn from years on the road, but you love them all the same.
Don't be. I love him too.
I know. I see it in your eyes.
You press your hand against their cheek, saving your last moment together before what may very well be the end of all things.
If I don't survive, tell him for me.
You smile and raise your brow wordlessly, brushing your knuckles against their cheek. If they confess to Salvi, then it should be on their own terms. Dante shakes their head, a smile ghosting the edge of his lips. Of their lips? Do you use he, they pronouns? Okay, I'm just gonna read. Okay. Chill.
Yeah. Yeah, I should.
You cannot use magic to ease away their troubles, but you can do what you can with all that you have.
Let's go to sleep, love. Tomorrow is the last dawn of the old age.
They throw one last glance at the abyss, at the decomposing corpse of a goddess. As it consumes the sky in its inky depths, the weight of the world presses down on their shoulders.
Tomorrow. Dawn.
Oh, so that's something they said. Okay. Oh. You wake to rumpled sheets and an empty bed. The space beside you is warm, the only sign that you aren't delusional, that what happened last night was real. You rise and rub the sleep from your eyes. The bed is still warm, so he shouldn't be too far gone. Probably just went to take a piss or something. Always had a poor bladder, that one. You comb your fingers through your hair to untangle it and replace your tie with a ribbon. With that out of the way, you lay your hand down beside you, only to be met with a note. You raise it to your eyes and begin to read.
Dante is sentenced to death in 10 days' time.
And your heart sinks in your chest.
They plan to kill them, to keep the legend alive and burn the soul underneath it. The council has been planning this for months.
What?
I should have known, yet I was too blind from the grief of you to see the noose tightening around our necks. You know I can't let this happen. I hope you can forgive me. Just this once.
My goodness.
Thank you for everything, darling. Run. Find your name. Live a life far away from this. You deserve bounds more than the paltry hopes we feed on. If I don't come back, know that I have failed.
Ugh.
On the nightstand is my ring. Keep it safe.
Not the ring.
I love you.
Aww. You clutch onto the note and spring forward to your living room. That idiot. That blithering, self-sacrificing fool. All this talk of Dante's failings, and he cannot stop himself from doing the same. You suppose it should come as no surprise that you're all self-sacrificing nitwits. No sane person would march headfirst into the abyss as you all once had, and yet look where your bravery has led you now. You get to the living room just as he's about to leave, through the back door. Oh. And with a harsh pull, you drag him right back in. He falls down with you on top of him.
You fucking imbecile!
That's right. Yell at him. All color has drained from his face, as if he wasn't already deathly pale to begin with. There are tears streaming down your eyes, and you do not care enough to stop them. If he feels guilty over it, then it's its own damn fault. You kneel by his side and grab at his collar. The bastard had somehow gotten his clothes back while you were asleep, but you're too much incensed to laugh at his strange spikes of confidence.
Did you not even once consider that I would want to come with you? That I would want to save one of my best friends?
He stares at you, mouth agape.
You self-sacrificing lot only think of yourselves. I love you, you blithering fool.
Confession. Your hands fall from his collar onto his chest. You lean forward, your forehead bumping into his.
I can't lose you again.
Aw. He's quiet underneath you, heart beating fast against your palms. Beating in time with you. You don't know how much time has elapsed when he lifts his hand up to your face, thumb caressing your cheek. He leans in, eyes lidded.
Can I kiss you?
Yes.
Aw, you guys are so cute. Aw, look at them. This is a beautiful CG though. I love the background, but it's also so pretty. Look at the tears. Okay. He presses his lips against yours, and it's exactly as you'd imagine it all those years ago. His lips are soft and cloyingly sweet. His skin smells of lavender and morning rain. His hand is in your hair, pulling you closer and closer into him. You are home. When you finally come up for air, you collapse into him, arms tangled behind his neck.
You already laid down your roots, love. Can't take you from here.
He murmurs, but you know he's already made up his mind despite himself.
My roots. My roots are with both of you. I thought that would have been obvious by now.
He chuckles so light and warm that you could mistake him for the sun itself.
You have buried yours within me, 6 feet deep, and I shall carry them to my grave. I will guard them until nature runs its course. Until all traces of me are no more.
Wow. He's breathless, eyes lit with want.
I'm sorry for taking so long.
Cheeky bastard.
You're forgiven. For this, that is. But not for everything else. You have much apologizing to do.
Salvi laughs, and it is bright and breathy and beautiful.
Let's get our idiot back.
Ooh.
Yes, I suppose we should.
Hmm. Aw, that is the end. This was wonderful. I love it. I love the story. Um, and I really didn't know where it was really going to go, to be honest. But I'm very happy that it is. It seems like a very much like we're gonna work together to go get Dante and like be reunited and go against the council and all that. So it was very lovely. Very happy that I could play this and just honestly really just enjoy it. The art is beautiful, the music's beautiful. I like a lot of the dual point of view perspectives because it really just I feel added to the story a lot. And yeah, I really liked it. Obviously, I could have made us some different choices. There were so many different choices. I don't really know if it could turn out to be a more negative ending. Like, you know, they wouldn't have tried to go after Dante together. Oh, stuff is just... Credits are growing. I'm just gonna let it go. So, if you like... Oh. You'll never get tired of the sight of it, you think. The moon, that is. It's been almost a year since she returned, since you pulled what remained of her from the belly of the beast, and it still takes your breath away to see her in the sky, shining in the glow of her brother's love. What did it look like, the moon? Divina had asked once, her gaze cast off to the darkness above. She was beautiful, Salvi replied. I wish you'd been alive to see her. And now you are. You know that she is there, guarding over you in the darkness, lighting your every step. If you had the chance to go back, you'd do it all again. There is no time left for regrets. Oh? Come out! Come on out, dog! Someone shouts from the outside. Even from here you can smell it, the oil on their swords, the gunpowder waiting to be ignited. But above all else, you smell fear. They are more afraid of you than you are of them. Oh, is this Dante? They always will be. It's time to kneel. You look down at the mask clutched between your hands. You cannot regret. You put it on, the familiar comfort of Divina's magic washing over you. The pommel of a blade slams hard against your door. You cannot regret, for you had loved and were loved in return.
Wait outside. I'm coming.
Oh. And that is enough. Oh? Well, so is this currently? I'm a little confused by that. Because I thought we're like, yeah, we're gonna go get Dante and save them. And like, you know, we'll all live happily ever after. But is that after? And there's still trouble and they're kind of like on the run, living their little lives together? I don't know. Yes? Oh, I can do more. Okay, wait. Okay, I am going to save this for next time. I thought this might have been like gallery stuff. So, I will save here. Thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to check out the game, and I'll put the link in the description below so you can make some other choices and see what other outcomes there may be, or just, you know, check out some of the other cool dialogue that happens because of different choices. If you haven't already liked the video, please like the video. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see me play this extra part of What Remains of Us, then please subscribe and you'll be notified when I post another video of this visual novel. But yes, thank you so much for watching. It's all been wonderful. I guess I'll save my final comments after the extra part next time. But yes, thank you again for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!